The galaxy was calm, peaceful. Trade ships moved between star systems. Scientists explored nebulae. Life was normal, until the cry came. It wasn't a voice. It wasn't a message. It was something deeper, older. A sound full of pain, fear, and something even worse. Desperation. Every advanced race in the galaxy heard it. The Thalax, a peaceful insect-like species, stopped their work in panic. The Morun monks, who lived in silence for centuries, broke their vow to scream. Even the cold AI minds of the Xin froze when the cry reached their servers. No one understood it, except one planet. Earth. The cry hit Earth like lightning. It wasn't just heard. It was felt. Old computers hidden deep underground lit up. Locked files opened by themselves. Warnings appeared on black screens in red letters. Cry detected. Origin unknown. Protocol Hellwake initiate. A secret system, forgotten by most humans, activated after hundreds of years. Deep under the ocean in silent black waters, metal doors began to open. Giant machines, asleep for centuries, began to wake. Across Earth, people felt something strange. Soldiers were pulled back from duty. Retired captains received emergency calls. AIs once sealed in secure vaults were reactivated. One man living alone in the snowy mountains got a simple message. "Captain Reyes, they're calling us again." He looked at the sky. His face was calm, but his eyes, cold and sharp, saw something no one else did. He whispered, "It's time." In orbit, Earth's defense net, a wall of satellites and hidden weapons, unfolded like a steel flower. It had not moved in 200 years. Now it turned toward the stars. The cry had come from a place far beyond the known galaxy, near the old war zone, near a planet that didn't exist on maps anymore. That planet had a name once. Varn. Long ago, the Varn were small, weak creatures. But they were loyal, brave. When the galaxy turned its back on Earth, the Varn stood with humanity. Together they fought wars no one remembers now. Together they made a promise. If one of us falls, the other rises. The Varn vanished centuries ago. Most believed they died in silence, but now the cry proved something terrifying. They didn't die peacefully. They were erased. At the edge of the solar system, Earth's secret fleet began to rise. They didn't launch from bases. They rose from deep oceans, from volcanoes, from mountains that split open. These were not normal ships. These were Deathworlder warships, built from living metal. Controlled by hybrid minds, part human, part AI. Made for one purpose: destruction. Each ship had a name carved into it like a threat. Dreadfang, Iron Requiem, Void Serpent, Wraith of Steel. They didn't glow, they didn't hum. They growled. "Admiral." Thorn stood on the bridge of Dreadfang, looking at the stars. He spoke to the ship's AI. "Target?" The AI, called Havoc, replied in a calm voice. "Signal source, Sector 9, beyond the broken spiral. All Varn colonies, silent, no response. Estimated threat level, unknown. Recommend total war readiness." Thorn nodded once. "Then we go loud." Back on Earth, leaders from every nation met underground. The room was dark. The air was tense. "Why now?" one leader asked. "Who sent the cry?" Another questioned. An old general, his face marked by battles long forgotten, answered, "Because we promised." "But what if it's a trap?" He looked around the room. Then he spoke slowly. "Then we make it their last mistake." The order was given. All warships, prepare for jump. The stars outside Earth began to shift. One by one, the Deathworlder ships vanished into the black. The galaxy watched, confused and afraid. Why was Earth, the so-called primitive Deathworld, unleashing its most dangerous fleet? Why did they react when no one else did? What was the cry and what was coming next? At the edge of space far beyond known systems, something moved. Dark, silent, watching. It had destroyed the Varn. Now it had heard Earth's answer. It smiled, if you could call that thing a smile. The game had begun. The stars were quiet again, but Earth was not. The cry still echoed in their minds. Every Deathworlder heard it, not with ears, but deep in their bones. They remembered. They remembered a promise made long ago. A small voice in the darkness had once cried out for help, and Earth had answered. That voice belonged to the Varn. Long before peace, before the great alliances and trade treaties, there was war. Endless war. The galaxy was full of empires. They fought for land, for power, for pride. Humanity was the youngest species back then. Weak, some said. Wild, others warned. A species from a death world. A planet so dangerous that only the strong survived. No one trusted humans. No one wanted them as allies. But the Varn did. The Varn were soft and gentle. Small bodies, bright eyes, no claws, no fangs, no warships. Just science and kindness. But when an ancient threat rose from the dark parts of space, it didn't care about kindness. The Varn begged the galaxy for help. No one came except Earth. Human warships arrived like falling stars. The enemy never saw them coming. Fire, steel, and shadow rained down. Humans lost ships, lost people, but they won. The Varn lived. From that day, a bond was formed, blood forged, soul deep. The humans gave the Varn technology, defense grids, even weapons. The Varn gave Earth something else, trust. Together, they built a network of secret beacons. If either race was ever in danger, they would send the cry. And now, it had been sent. On board the warship Void Serpent, Captain Reyes stared. At the stars, he had not spoken in hours. Around him, his crew moved in silence. Soldiers, veterans, ghosts of 100 battles. Each one had a scar. Each one remembered the Varn. A young officer approached. "Sir, the fleet is ready. Jump drives are charged." Reyes gave one nod, then spoke just one word. "Go." The war fleet tore through space. Black ships sliding between stars like knives. But something was wrong. There was no signal from the Varn. No reply. No ships. No distress beacon anymore. Just silence. They reached the old Varn homeworld, Varn Ka, and found nothing. Where there was, once a green world full of music and life, now there was only ash. The planet was burned, not bombed, not broken, erased. Like someone had tried to wipe it out of history. Orbit was full of wreckage. Varn satellites, human tech, and enemy parts. Captain Reyes walked into the war room. On the hollow screen, pieces of alien metal floated in space. Commander Lysa frowned. "That's not ours. Not Varn either." The AI, Havoc, appeared. A face made, of shifting code. "I scanned the remains," Havoc said. "I found DNA traces, unknown species, advanced weapons, fast kill patterns, no known design." "Who are they?" asked Lysa. Havoc paused. "I don't know. They are not from this galaxy." On another ship, Iron Requiem, Admiral Thorne studied enemy patterns. "They didn't just kill," he muttered. "They studied, they tested. This wasn't war. This was a lab." Every Varn base was hit in the same way. First the power, then the defenses, then the people. Some were taken, some simply vanished, and one message was left behind, buried deep in the ruins. Just 2 words: "We're coming." Panic spread through the fleet. Who were they? Where did they go? And why destroy the Varn completely? Captain Reyes met with Thorne. "This was not just death," Reyes said. "It was a message," Thorne agreed. "We heard it loud and clear. Back on Earth, the leaders received the first report. Total Varn extinction. Unknown enemy. Extreme threat." The room fell silent. "What do we do now?" someone whispered. The old general, the same one from before, stood again. "They wiped out our oldest allies, the ones who trusted us when no one else did." He looked at them, fire in his voice. "Deathworlders, don't forget." Back in deep space, the human fleet changed formation. Battle mode. No more scanning. No more caution. They were not here to understand. They were here to hunt. And far away, in a dark part of the galaxy, something smiled. The humans had taken the bait, but they had no idea what waited for them next. The human fleet had seen war before, but this was different. The Varn were gone, their homeworld destroyed. No survivors, no answers, only silence and fear. And now, Earth had only one choice: unleash the beasts they had kept hidden for centuries. Far, beneath Earth's oceans, the water began to boil, not from heat but from movement. Massive metal shapes stirred in the dark, shapes the world had forgotten. Shapes not listed in any human defense files. These were not submarines. They were warships, made for galactic-level destruction, not flown for 300 years, not even spoken of. Their name, the Abyss class, made from living alloy, part machine, part creature. With minds of their own, silent, deadly, loyal only to their creators. On the Pacific floor, one such ship, Titan Wrath, opened its black eyes. Floodgates cracked. Steam hissed. The sea split. Slowly the Titan rose. Its body was longer than 3 skyscrapers. Its armor glowed faint red. Its face? Yes, it had a face. And it growled. As it breached the surface, the sky turned dark. Above, in orbit, satellites, activated. Abyss-class warships detected, activation confirmed. Earth was not holding back anymore. Back in space, the Deathworlder fleet waited. Hungry. Inside Void Serpent, Captain Reyes stood near the ship's mind core. The AI Havoc spoke again. "Abyss fleet is on its way. ETA, 2 hours. Reyes nodded. "Finally, we'll need them." Commander Lisa asked, "Do you think this enemy fears us?" Reyes smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. "They will." Elsewhere on the warship Iron Requiem, Admiral Thorne studied the map. 3 more Varn colonies were gone. Same method, same silence. But this time, the humans picked up a signal. Not from the Varn, not from the enemy, from something else. They followed the signal to an empty moon. No atmosphere, no life signs, but the signal was strong. The fleet sent a small team down, 5 elite soldiers trained for alien recovery. They entered a cave hidden beneath the surface. Inside, they found something shocking: a single Varn. Still alive. Barely. His body was broken, burned, frozen. But his eyes opened when he saw the humans. He whispered, voice shaking, "You came." Reyes bent down beside him. "We always would." The Varn grabbed his arm. "They're not like before. They feed on fear, they become what you fear." "Who?" Reyes asked. The Varn gasped. "They call themselves the Hollow Flame." And then he died. Back on the fleet, the message sent a wave of tension. Hollow Flame. Fear eaters, shapeshifters, no data on them. No weaknesses, only destruction. AI Havoc ran the numbers. Unknown species. Adaptive. May not follow physical laws as we know them. Multiple ships reported phase jumping, appearing inside shields. Probability of psychological attacks, 87%. Admiral, Thorne clenched his jaw. "So we're fighting ghosts that feed on terror." "Yes," Havoc replied. "But ghosts can still burn." The warships from Earth finally arrived. Titan Wrath, Black Leviathan, and Omega Rays, each one glowing, armed with weapons no one had seen in centuries. The fleet was ready, and just in time, alarms screamed. Enemy ships inbound. Dozens of shadow ships appeared from nowhere. They didn't come from hyperspace. They didn't break through sensors. They were just there, black, jagged, twisted. Like space itself didn't want to touch them. They moved fast, faster than light. They didn't fire missiles, they simply touched ships and the metal started to rot. Inside Void Serpent, the lights flickered. Shadows crawled across the walls. One crew member began to scream, "They're inside. I see them. They're everywhere." But no one else saw anything. Captain Reyes fired his pulse rifle at the wall, revealing a shape, invisible but real. It died with a shriek not meant for human ears. The first battle had begun. Lasers cut the dark. Missiles roared. Human AIs fought shadow programs in digital duels. And then the Abyss warships joined. Titan Wrath opened its mouth, a real mouth, and released a gravity pulse. One enemy ship crushed like paper. Black Leviathan used plasma tentacles to pull another. Out of phase, Omega Rays activated its Soul Rip cannon, a weapon designed to destroy energy patterns. It erased a ship from existence. The Hollow Flame fought back, adapting fast. But now, they knew. Earth had monsters too. As the battle ended, silence returned. Debris floated. Shadows faded. But victory wasn't complete. Only half the enemy ships were destroyed. The rest had disappeared. Havoc spoke quietly. They retreated. Not defeated. Captain Reyes stared into the stars. They were testing us. Admiral Thorne's voice came through the comm. "Next time they'll bring more." And far across the galaxy, the Hollow Flame whispered among themselves, "The Deathworlders have teeth. Let's see how deep they bite." The battle was over. The stars, once full of fire and weapons, were quiet again. But silence wasn't peace, it was a warning. The Hollow Flame had tested Earth's strength and vanished into the dark. But they would be back. And next time, they wouldn't hold back. The Deathworlder fleet floated above the burned world of Varnka. No voices, no signals, no life, only ash and broken memories. The humans sent teams down to the surface, walking among the ruins of what once was a beautiful world. Varn buildings now shattered, statues once full of joy, melted into stone tears, and bodies, thousands of them, buried under the dust. Captain Reyes walked alone through a broken garden. He knelt beside a small grave. There was a name scratched into a piece of metal. Sela, friend of Earth, Reyes. Didn't speak. His hand closed into a fist. Commander Lysa joined him. Her voice was low. They buried themselves. The survivors. After the first wave, they hid underground until they couldn't anymore. Reyes nodded, and no one came. Until now. A drone team found something deeper, an old Varn temple beneath the surface. Inside, they discovered a sealed vault, protected by human Varn tech. The code still worked. The door opened with a soft hiss, revealing something incredible. Records, memories, warnings, thousands of years of Varn history, saved here in secret. One video played on its own. It showed a Varn elder, standing in front of the camera. His face was tired. Behind him, explosions echoed. "To our brothers on Earth, if you're seeing this, we are gone. The Hollow Flame came not to conquer but to erase. They fear unity. They fear your fire. Don't fight them alone. Don't fight like them. Fight like humans." The screen faded. Silence again. But something had changed. Now they had a name, a face, a reason. Back on Titan Wrath, the War Council met. Admiral Thorne stood at the center, his voice sharp. "We were late to the Varn's last stand. That was our mistake." He pointed at the map. Red dots covered it, places where the Hollow Flame had appeared, then vanished. They don't move like normal enemies. They don't leave trails. They burn everything, then disappear. Captain Reyes spoke. "Next, they're not just killing, they're feeding. On fear, on despair." Lysa added, "So we cut off their food. The fleet's AI, Havoc, created a new plan. We will go where they don't expect us, to the places they already destroyed, to the graveyards." The plan was dangerous. They would jump deep into Hollow Flame space, places the enemy thought were already dead. One such place, the Varn Star Graveyard, a system once filled with Varn colony ships. now floating in ruin. Nobody had entered it since the war. Until now, the Deathworlder fleet arrived. Thousands of broken ships floated like skeletons in the dark twisted metal, frozen corpses, faint whispering signals. No power, no lights, just endless silence. But as Titanwrath moved closer, something began to change. Whispers in the comms, faint shapes on radar. And then, movement. Out of the wreckage came Varn ships. Whole, undamaged, glowing. But something was wrong. They moved too perfectly, too smooth. Havoc scanned them. These are not Varn. Their tech is wrong. They're copies. Commander Lisa shouted, "It's them! Hollow Flame!" The enemy was using the Varn's own ships as bait. The battle began. Human warships locked weapons. Titanwrath fired its pulse cannon. Black Leviathan released a wave of EMP energy. But the enemy didn't fall back. They didn't die. They transformed. The fake Varn ships cracked open like eggs, revealing shadow beasts inside. Long arms, burning eyes, shifting shapes. They attacked fast. From all sides, they whispered in the minds of the crew. "You're alone. You failed them. You let them die." Some humans froze, some screamed, some fought back. Captain Reyes' voice echoed through every ship. "They want fear? Then give them fire." The Abyss-class warships responded. Omega Rays dropped its fusion core into the enemy fleet, creating a mini-star for 3 seconds. Void Serpent used its shadow drive to teleport inside an enemy ship, destroying it from the heart. Human soldiers pushed through, even bleeding, even broken. Deathworlders do not back down. When the last shadow died, the whispers stopped. Silence returned, but not fear. Now there was anger and purpose. Inside the last wrecked Varn ship, the humans found one last message. It was written in the walls, burned in Varn script and human code. "Protect Earth. Stop the flame. Do not forget us." Reyes traced the letters with his fingers. "We won't." Back in deep space, the hollow, flame leaders gathered. One spoke. "The humans go deeper now. They remember too much." Another hissed, "Let them come. Let them burn." A third, older voice whispered, "Then it begins. The war for the soul of the stars." The war was no longer in the shadows. The hollow flame had been hiding, testing, feeding. Now they were rising, and the galaxy would burn if Earth failed to stop them. In the cold of deep space, on board the Void Serpent, Captain Reyes looked at the stars. But the stars were changing. Some were blinking out, one by one. They weren't dying naturally. They were being erased. AI Havoc ran a new scan. Stars across Sector 19 have gone dark, not collapsed, not exploded, just gone. Commander Lysa stared. "That's impossible. Stars can't just vanish." Havoc paused. "Unless something consumes them." Silence filled the war room. Admiral Thorne's voice came through the hollow call. "This is how they grow." The hollow flame doesn't just feed on fear. They eat light, hope, and even time. "They're not just invaders," Reyes said. "They're a disease." And now, the disease was spreading fast. Earth's leaders met in secret. The Defense AI, Counselor Prime, warned them. "We are out of time. The flame grows stronger with every world it touches. Soon, not even Abyss-class ships will stop them." An old general slammed his fist on the table. "Then we strike now. All fleets, all firepower, every Deathworlder weapon." But the AI replied calmly, "You still don't understand. This is not just war. This is infection." Back in space, scouts reported strange news. A hollow flame world had appeared where nothing had been before. A full planet. Burning red, surrounded by fire, not on any map, not real, but it was there. A planet made of stolen matter. Stolen memories. Stolen pain. They called it Ashitorak, the heart of flame. Captain Reyes looked at the star chart. "If we destroy this, we break their core." Thorne agreed. "It's our only chance." But it would not be easy, because Ashitorak was alive. The Deathworlder fleet moved fast. All surviving ships, all captains. The Abyss fleet led the way. Titan Wrath, Black Leviathan, Omega Rays. Each ship carried a piece of Earth's fury, and behind them, smaller vessels, human and alien allies. The few who dared to fight together. They looked like a storm, but they were flying into fire. As they neared Ashitorak, the sky changed. It wasn't space anymore. It was something else. The stars looked wrong. Bent, twisted. Crew members heard voices in their heads. Voices of the dead. Voices from their worst memories. Inside Void Serpent, the ship's hull began to frost over, on the inside. Havoc sounded alarmed. Warning. Mental pressure increasing. Psychological warfare at 92%. Crew may break. Captain Reyes gritted his teeth. Lock. Down emotional feedback. Root all fear through me. The AI hesitated. That could kill you. Reyes smiled coldly. Then tell the flame. I died angry. Ashitorak finally appeared, not like a normal world. It was breathing. Its mountains moved. Its clouds were made of screams. Lightning danced across the surface in blood-red arcs. The hollow flame was waiting. Thousands of ships. Twisted. Warped. Some shaped like dragons. Others like spiders or wolves. Each one taken from someone's worst nightmare, because the flame didn't build ships. They grew them from fear. The battle began. Abyss-class ships struck first. Titan Wrath unleashed gravity bombs that tore the sky. Black Leviathan dove into enemy swarms like a living blade. Omega. Rays exploded 3 enemy ships at once, using the Soul Rip cannon at full power. But for every enemy destroyed, 2 more appeared. They were feeding mid-battle, growing stronger with every death. On board the Iron Requiem, Admiral Thorne made a choice. We can't win this head-on, he said. He turned to his science officer. Give me a weapon that doesn't kill fear. Give me one that kills their hunger. The officer hesitated. There is one, but it was banned, unstable, created only for total annihilation. Thorne's voice was like steel. Then it's perfect. The weapon was called Project Halo Fall, a bomb made not of fire or metal, but pure emotion, hope, memory, love. Everything the hollow flame couldn't eat. A human soul, turned into a sun. Captain Reyes volunteered to deliver it. He would fly into Ashitorak, into its heart, alone. The last scenes of Part 5 show the Void Serpent diving into the atmosphere of the hollow flame world. Fire everywhere. Screams in the air. The ship shakes. Reyes walks to the core chamber carrying the Halo Fall bomb. He looks into the camera, to Earth, to the fleet, to us. Tell the Varn. We heard the cry. Tell the flame. We answered it. The screen turns white. Captain Reyes had only one task now. Fly into the heart of the hollow flame. Deliver the Halo Fall bomb. Destroy the enemy from within. And maybe never return. The Void Serpent shook as it broke through the sky of Ashitorak. It wasn't like falling into a planet. It felt like falling into a nightmare. The clouds screamed. The ground moved like a living thing. Flames reached upward, black and cold, but Reyes didn't stop. His ship flew straight through fire and shadow toward the burning core. On every human ship across the fleet, eyes watched. The battle raged in orbit. The hollow flame had no leader, no command. They were all rage, all hunger. They fought like a living ocean, drowning everything. But Earth's warriors didn't fall back. Abyss-class ships burned like gods among stars. Titan Wrath lost half its hull, but still fired. Black Leviathan had no engines left but tore enemy ships with raw claws. They held the line, so Reyes could go deeper. Inside the Void Serpent, alarms blared, hull melting, systems failing. The AI, Havoc, spoke calmly. We will not survive re-entry. Reyes smiled. That was never the plan. He walked to the Halo Fall chamber. The bomb didn't glow like normal weapons. It pulsed, soft blue, warm, alive, built from memories, from kindness, from love. Reyes placed his hand on it and saw his daughter's face. Her laughter. He whispered, "For her, for Earth." As the ship reached the flame core, Reyes opened a channel. His voice echoed across every ship, every screen, every mind. "We come from Deathworlds, but we bring life. You feed on fear, then choke on our hope." And then, he dropped the bomb. The halo fall fell into the heart of the hollow flame. It didn't explode like a normal weapon. It spread, a wave of color, of music, of memory. The kind of feelings the flame couldn't understand, couldn't control, couldn't eat. The core of Ashtorak began to crack. The hollow flame screamed. Ships turned wild. Beasts lost their shape. For the first time, they felt fear, real fear. Back in space, Admiral Thorne shouted, "All units, fire, while they're weak." The fleet answered, missiles, lasers, plasma beams. One by one, the hollow flame vessels burned. Ashtorak shook, broke, split apart. Giant crack ran across the sky, and from it, light. Real light, a kind Earth hadn't seen in ages. Then came the explosion. Not fire, not destruction, but release. Ashtorak shattered like glass. The hollow flame didn't die. They were unmade, burned out of reality. No screams, no wreckage, just silence. Peace. But there was no sign of Captain Reyes. Void Serpent was gone. No signal, no body, only a soft echo. His final words, still in the calm. "Tell the Varn," we answered. The cry. The war was not fully over. Some hollow flame ships had fled, hiding in deep space. But their heart was gone, their power broken. They were no longer gods, they were just monsters. And now, Earth knew how to stop them. A new message went out, across the galaxy, from Admiral Thorne, from Earth. Simple, strong. "To any world still listening, we heard your cry. We answered. You are not alone. Stand, fight, burn them back." The Varn worlds, silent for so long, flickered back to life. Other races, once afraid, now rose. A flame had burned the stars, but another had replaced it, not a hollow flame. A human flame, made of courage, of loss, of rage, of hope. And in the deepest corner of the galaxy, a single spark glowed, a hidden chamber, a piece of the Void Serpent's hull. Inside it, a voice. Faint, alive. Captain Reyes was not gone. Not yet. The hollow flame was shattered, but not destroyed. Its heart was gone. Ashtorak burned, yet shadows still moved in the dark, waiting, changing, planning, and from the ashes of the great battle, the Ember War began. The Deathworlder fleet limped back to Allied space. Many ships were broken, many heroes were lost. Captain Reyes was missing, but the victory had shaken the galaxy. And now, others were rising. Across old war-torn systems, strange signals began to appear. Not hollow flame, something else. Smaller, faster, sharper. AI Havoc intercepted a message. We saw the cry, we saw the answer, and now we see weakness. It wasn't a distress call. It was a threat. On Earth, Counselor Prime summoned the new war leaders, Admiral Thorne, Commander Lisa, Captain Wren from Mars Fleet. "The hollow flame scattered," Prime said, "but from their ashes comes a new threat." Thorne nodded. "They saw how we bleed, and they want their chance." Lisa frowned. "So now everyone wants a piece of Earth." The AI agreed. "Yes, the galaxy saw our fire, and now they come for it." They called themselves the Ember Legion. Not monsters, not ghosts, but beings, alien and human, who worshipped the flame, not to feed on fear, but to spread it. The Ember Legion struck fast, hit-and-run attacks on supply lines. Sabotage. On peaceful colonies, they painted walls with burning handprints. They left no names, no demands, just a symbol. A broken circle, half lit. The galaxy called them terrorists. But Earth knew better. They were a cult born from war. Commander Lisa led a mission to the planet Juno 4, where Ember forces were seen last. The city was empty, not destroyed, just abandoned, like everyone left in a hurry. Havoc scanned the buildings. Heat signs 0. Life signs 0. But what? Lisa asked. Voices. Hundreds of voices. Underground. She and her team moved carefully into the tunnels. What they found stopped them cold. A room, round, dark, and glowing with red symbols. Dozens of people. Floating. Still breathing, but not moving. Stuck in a dream. A voice echoed in Lisa's mind. Peace is fear. Fear is power. Power is Ember. She backed away. They're not just killers, she whispered. They're brainwashing entire worlds. Back at Fleet Command, Admiral Thorne launched Operation Black Wake, a secret strike into Ember territory. 3 elite warships. 1 mission, capture an Ember priest alive. They succeeded, barely. The priest looked human, eyes burned gold, skin tattooed with flame symbols. He smiled through broken teeth and said one word. Raise. The room went silent. Lisa stepped forward. What about Captain Raise? The priest grinned wider. He lives. He burns. And soon he returns. Thorne grabbed him. Where is he? The priest laughed and burned from the inside, turning to ash. But the message was clear. Raise was alive, and the Ember Legion knew where he was. The final moments of Part 7 show a small Ember ship escaping into deep space. Inside, in a cryochamber, a body floats, his armor cracked, his eyes closed, but his pulse. Steady, Captain Raise. Held in stasis, surrounded by whispers and fire. The Ember Legion is growing, and they want a new leader. The war was supposed to be over. The hollow flame was shattered. The stars were safe. But darkness never dies. It just waits, and, in that silence, a new cry was rising. The Ember Legion had grown fast, too fast. They moved like shadows, whispered like ghosts. Some of them were once human. Others, aliens turned by belief. But now, they had a leader, or were making one. Inside, a secret Ember temple deep in uncharted space, Captain Raise floated in a stasis pod, still alive. His mind filled with fire. The cult circled him, chanting, worshipping, not killing him, changing him. On Earth, alarms blared, signals from deep space. Too many, too fast. Admiral Thorne stared at the holomap. They're waking something, he said. Or someone, Commander Lisa replied. Havoc confirmed. All Ember ships are heading to one point. The screen zoomed in, a place not on any map, an old battlefield, a graveyard of forgotten gods. They called it Null Point. Counselor Prime made the call. All fleets, all ships, go. This was not just a mission. This was the final battle. The Deathworlder Armada moved out. Titan Wrath, Omega Rays, Black Leviathan, rebuilt, reforged, ready. Every race that survived the flame now answered Earth's call. The Varn, the Corrin, even. The silent Silith broke their long silence. Because they all knew. If Rays turned, no one could stop him. As the fleets entered Null Point, time bent, space twisted, and at the center, a ship, massive, alive, built from wreckage, bone, ash, the Ember Throne, and above it, lightning cracked the void. Rays stood, awake, eyes burning, no longer trapped, no longer fully human. Something was inside him, watching through him. He spoke to the fleet, not with words, with emotion. I felt the cry, I became the flame, but I remember who I am a Deathworlder. The Ember Legion began to panic. They had made him their god, but he was still Rays, and gods don't take orders. Admiral Thorne sent a tight beam message. "Rays, you still with us?" Rays's voice came through, calm, low. "Yeah, but I'm not alone in here, and if I lose control, fire will consume everything." Commander Lisa stepped forward. "Then let's help you end it." The fleets attacked. The Ember Legion struck back. Chaos lit up space. Starships clashed like titans. Gravity twisted, shields broke, pilots screamed, but through the fire, the Ember throne cracked, and Rays walked into its heart. He carried a new device, not a bomb. Beacon Dot 1 that would send a pulse across the galaxy, not of fear, but of truth. He placed it at the center. The whispers screamed in his head, but he stood tall. He spoke one last time. "You heard the cry. Now hear this. We are not afraid." He pressed the trigger. The beacon lit up. A wave spread out. Every Ember ship froze. Every cult member screamed. The lie was broken. The fear was cut. And the hollow flame died. Rays collapsed, but didn't burn. The Ember throne fell around him, and the stars were quiet again. Later, Earth recovered him, alive, changed. He didn't talk much, but he smiled more. Peace spread, for the first time in years. The Varn rebuilt their cities. The Corran taught war-forged planets to grow again, and Earth led not with weapons but with hope. Still, the galaxy remembered the cry, and how Deathworlders answered it, not just with fire, but with heart. Final scene. A young cadet on a far colony looks up at the stars. He hears a whisper, not of fear, but of a story. The story of a warship captain who burned like a sun and never stopped fighting. The cadet asks, "Is it true?" The old war vet beside him nods. When the cry came, we answered,